Right golfers, breaking 80 today, and in today's video we're going to talk approach play ideas, and breaking 80 doesn't just mean improving your swing. It can be simpler than that. So today we're going to talk about 130 to 150 in the comments down below. Let's say a 10 index golfer, what percentage of green success do they have from 130 to 150 in those comments down below? Go on, hit those comments up. And you? What percent green success? 50, 40, 60, 20, what do you reckon? It's around 39%. Less than half of your approaches in around from 130 to 150 are hitting the green. This needs improving. We're gonna do that today. Come on, let's do it. So the first challenge is at 140 yards. I'm going to put it right in the middle of our bracket, and I've got a pitching wedge and a 9. The question you need to be asking yourself is, do you have more than one shot for any given situation, even on the flat lie here? So if I go my pitching wedge 140 yards, this is a hard one. So I need to give this full Monty. I need to be looking at what shapes come out when I hit this hard. I need to feel, is it something I do from, say, this really static lie? Could I do it from different lies? You know, am I pushing myself too much to my limits? How consistent is the strike when I'm hitting it hard? And then really get out there and look at the flights that you're getting as well and relate them to how you might use them in different situations. This one's looking high. So I imagine if I'm downwind needing it to stop, if I've got to go over things, I'm going to employ this idea. But situations, as we know out on the course, just vary so much. So soft 9, now what happens? So I'm coming down the grip a little bit, I've got a slightly narrower stance, I'm going to make what feels a much smaller shoulder turn, and a little bit of a held off follow through. I'm just going to try and push the ball the distance. That's going in lower. It feels like it's going to push forwards more when it hits the ground. This one to me, so taking more clubs, hitting it softer, and we're all very different, feels safer. Like it feels like I'm doing less, like it's not much work, and I feel like I can hit target good enough. Hitting it harder, for me, feels like I'm having to work harder. So that's not a right or a wrong, that's personal preference. You need to work out if you're more comfortable smashing or you're more comfortable hitting it softer, so more club and softer. But what you do need is you need to have these variations, because they're going to be so useful out on the golf course. If you're someone trying to break 80 and you haven't got these variations, this is the first thing you should be practicing. And if we compare the two shots, I got a little bit more ball speed out of the wedge, it launches higher, it spins more. This had a descent angle of 50 degrees to get the 140 carry, only rolling out the 143, where if I hit a soft 9, it's tending to push me on a little bit more, averaging at 147. Lower spinning, launching lower. This was around a 45 degree descent angle. And you can see the two streams up here. This is what I'm seeing, and I'm going to use this in situation. I'm going to use it to react to how my game's going. I'm coming up short too much. What I'm going to do is switch my strategy come the third approach shot. I've come up short on the first two, so I'm now going to take more club and hit it softer, because I can see from that data and from the practice I do out on the course, and hopefully you should be doing, for me, taking more and hitting it softer tends to push it to the number and beyond. Me trying to go to number and whack it, well, it leads to a few miss hits, so I come up short. These are key skills to not coming up short so much, hitting more greens. Literally, if you can hit 1.5 to 2 more greens per round, breaking 80 is on the cards a lot. A 10 index golfer hits the green 10% more often from the fairway than they do from the rough. So from the rough, they're losing another 10% of green success. Let's get out on the course and give you some rough hacks. Got to hack this stuff as well, because we're not hitting enough from the rough. So trying to hit 1 extra green in this kind of area from the rough would just be massively different for your stats and would allow you to probably break 80 more often. So how good are you at understanding flyers? So reading a lie and knowing if it's going to go really shooty long or come up way short. That's a key element of hitting out the rough. Where there's always going to be some guesswork, you can be better with your guesswork if you base it on some experience. So get in here and practice with some different lies to work out which ones give you the flyers where they really shoot and which ones kind of just the more varied to duff. So this lie in the rough, the grass is lying the way I'm going. It's sat kind of medium, that's going to fly, meaning I'm going to take less club, hit it and let it run up. It's going to be a low spinner. I can get that up the face on the club. I can see that that ball is already lined up with the middle, so there's a good chance I can get it high up, which is going to create that lower spin. If I just move the ball a little bit more, I mean, I've moved it a foot, that's not going to be so much of a flyer. This is all going to get in the way. I'm going to be hitting down at this one a lot more and it's going to come out lower. That isn't going to fly, that's going to need some speed. Being how to read these better, just not even execute, just read it better to choose the club, might make you hit one extra green every 2 rounds. It's kind of 0.5, do you see what I mean? How you can just squeeze out some wins. Making sure you're friendly with the loft you use and not taking on too much is another key element of trying to get more out of the rough. And then the last one, and this is the one I see most people trip up on, don't get too fancy in here in the sense that swing thoughts now are kind of off. I'm not really fussed so much of what I'm doing with my intricate movements of my swing that I've been practicing from the range and on the flat mats and on the fairway and on the tee. In a lie with the grass behind or a lot of grass behind the ball, this is now speed driven. So apart from moving the ball position subject to if it's set up or down, I'm going to move it back, handle forwards, weight forwards, try and hit down a little bit more. But I am not thinking, oh, am I here perfect? I'm aiming a little bit out to the right to compensate for my shape because the ball is back. And now it's an emphasis on speed, moving ground, moving grass. No beautiful swings here. This is now brute force, as much energy as you can. I want that divot, I want that grass gone. That has hit the green and I'm happy. And all I did there, set myself up the best way I could, read the lie, and then applied speed. So many amateurs are still in here being so fancy and intricate, trying to hit their perfect positions, their perfect swings, and without the speed, the ball's going halfway because the ground is just stopping it. Get some speed, get some aggression, get brutal. Let's squeeze an extra 0.5, 1.5 greens in regulation on your 130 to 150 approaches out with some discipline. And this one, we all know this, but come on in the comments, are you really doing this? So if you watch my line here, this is where I'm lining up. This is the 9-foot Pebble Beach. This pin is back left. Like if I'm trying to get this ball anywhere into this spot because the green slopes from left to right down to that pin, I am asking for big trouble. So really trying to take to that fat of the green is really allowing for me to have a lot more leeway with left and right misses. Just trying to play more to the fat of the green as much as possible. If you think about it, that fatter part allows you to miss it, say 10 yards right, 10 yards left of where you're aiming and you're still hitting the green. And it's so important. We get down in less shots when we hit the green to when we miss the green. And that's not as obvious as that sounds. You can be a little bit closer off the green, but on average you won't get down as many shots as if you've got a long putt. Where there are situations of going at the pin, if you're closer, might be of benefit. Be honest with yourselves, how many times have you been suckered in by a pin position? Let's get the fat of the green, allows for little pulls, allows for little pushes, allows for squeezing an extra green in regulation out. Basically aiming to the middle of this green from 148 from a simulated position. Look how wide it is. It's hard for me not to hit it. And sometimes hitting one extra green around is actually reverse engineering. So not thinking about the shots that are missing, thinking a little bit more about the shot before. And for this bonus last tip, and it sounds so obvious, but you should be doing everything you can to not hit these things. Fairway bunkers. The stats from fairway bunkers when 10 indexers are hitting fairway bunkers of green success are not good. They bring your averages way down. So you should totally be doing everything you can to not go in a fairway bunker where we can't get over the lip and we're going to duff it. Look at that, I just can't get the green from there. I'm only 117 out, but I can't get it. So do whatever you can off the tee. Make sure you play enough club that just carries them, takes them out of play. I'd rather you be in the trees than in the fairway bunker on average. Also, the opposite, if it is a case that you can hit them, just come up short. I'd rather you have 160 in from the fairway or the rough than pretty much 150 in from the fairway bunker. Whatever you can do to miss fairway bunkers is only going to allow you to not get in this kind of conundrum. Let me know if this helps. Hit more greens. You only need to hit 1 or 1.5 or 2 more greens per round from this area as a 10 index, and it will help you relieve the pressures of having too many free putts and hitting the odd one out of bounds. It's a skill set that if you can move yourself above the average for your index, think about it. If the rest of your game is okay, you're gonna play above your average, meaning you're gonna break 80. Let me know if this helps.